to Anorexia Awareness Podcast, AAP. We're here to talk openly about anorexia, how it affects people, and how we can all support each other. In today's episode, we're diving into a tough but really important topic, the effects of anorexia on relationships, whether it be with friends, family, or even romantic partners. I'm Addie, and I'm here with Karis, Jazzy, and Claire. We're all really passionate about raising awareness around anorexia and how it impacts not just the person struggling, but also their loved ones. So let's get right into it. Karis, let's start with you. From your perspective, how does anorexia start to affect relationships, particularly with family and friends?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think one of the biggest things is the isolation that often comes with anorexia. A person who's struggling with it might start pulling away from their family, friends, or anyone they feel might judge them. It can create this huge emotional distance because they're so focused on their eating habits, their body image, and everything they feel ashamed about. They don't even want to talk about it because they're afraid of being judged or misunderstood.
Right, and I think it's not just about isolation, it's also about the tension it creates. Imagine being a parent or close friend watching someone you care about spiral, but not knowing how to help. And it may be really frustrating because there's this sense of helplessness. The person with anorexia might feel like shutting down, while the people around them just want to support them, but they don't always know how.
Yeah, and it's important to acknowledge that it's not just about the eating habits or food. Anorexia can often come with other issues like mood swings or emotional distance. And for families, it can be confusing because they might think it's just about the food, but really it's about control, anxiety, and all these other deeper emotional struggles. It's tough to navigate when you're not sure if the person is just being difficult or if they really need more support than they're showing.
That's such a good point. Sometimes we don't realize how much mental health plays a role in eating disorders like anorexia. It's not just about food. It's also about fear, anxiety, and pressure to be perfect. But Jazzy, you've mentioned before that this dynamic can also affect friendships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. With friends, it's not always obvious at first, but as someone starts to distance themselves, you can definitely feel it. And it might be hard to hang out with them if they're constantly canceling plans because they're too focused on how much they've eaten or what they even look like. That's when friendships can really suffer. It's also really tough to know what to say. Do you call them out or do you stay quiet? You don't want to make things worse, but you also want to be there for them.
And it can feel really helpless when someone you care about is making self-destructive choices and you don't know how to reach them. I think people often feel like they've tried everything, and when nothing works, they start to question themselves. Is this something I said or did? Should I have acted differently? But in reality, anorexia is such a complex issue, and it's not about the individual relationship, it's about the struggle they're going through internally. It's really important to be patient with yourself as a friend or family member too.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Claire. It's easy to feel like you're falling when you can't get through to someone. But as we all know, recovery is a long road, and sometimes just letting someone know that you're there for them is the most important thing you can do.
Exactly, and it's also so important to try and take care of yourself during this time. Supporting someone with anorexia is emotionally draining, and it's easy to get caught up in their struggle and forget to check in on your own well-being.
For sure. And also, if you're the one struggling, it's okay to reach out for help.
Definitely. So for anyone out there who may be in a situation where someone they care about is struggling with anorexia, or if they're personally struggling, it's important to know that there's open communication and to lean on people for support. Whether it's a counselor, a group of friends, or a therapist, it will help you. And for family members, it's key to remember that this isn't your fault. Anorexia is a deeply complicated issue, and offering a non-judgmental space to talk is one of the best things you can do. Before we end today's episode, let's go around and share one piece of advice for anyone who might be in the middle of the struggle, whether they're personally affected or supporting someone else.
I'd say don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't try to navigate this alone. It's okay not to have all the answers.
If you're supporting someone, remember to take care of your own mental health. You can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure you're getting support too.
Be patient, both with the person you care about and with yourself. This isn't a quick fix, but showing love and understanding can make a huge difference.
That's such great advice. And if you're struggling, or if you see someone around you who is, reach out. Anorexia is tough, but you don't have to face it alone. Thanks for listening to the Anorexia Awareness Podcast. We'll see you next time.